Al, are you ready for the demon's true nature?
I mean, we already
And
know what the demon's true nature is.
are you ready for a soul to be devoured?
Yeah,
For realsies this time?
for realsies.
For reals.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's going to happen today here on episode 52 of Jared and Al Watch Inuyasha. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Ladium.
Hello.
We are discussing season 2, episode 25, or episode 52, entitled The Demon's True Nature. Except we learned that last week.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
Yep. So this week we're seeing a soul get devoured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We basically just pick up where we left off last week, where Moroku and Inuyasha are still in the poisonous cocoon.
Hey, did you know that's a poisonous cocoon?
Did you know that's a poisonous cocoon? That's true. Demon Man's drinking some sake, and then he's also just... How do I say this in a much politer way than I was originally going to say it?
Oh no.
Throat sucking the ladies.
Throat sucking the ladies.
That's the PG version of what I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
Throat fire trucking the ladies, but remove some letters from fire truck.
Oh man. Yeah, he drains the blood out of them via the throat. He
Goes, bleh.
puts the dress down a little bit so you think he's gonna be like a pervert. And then he's like, nope, I'm going to take all your blood away.
I'm a pervert in another way. So yeah, that happens, and then Inuyasha gets more mad.
Yeah.
The old man... Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's just like in the cocoon getting more and more mad and like moving around and making his wounds open more.
And Moroku's like, oh, I gotta hold this, come on. The old man grabs Tetsaiga from the dude who just had it, and the guy's like, my sword!
I love that the old man's so determined to get the sword. He's like, I gotta get it to him. I gotta
I'm
do
gonna
it.
get it to him. I gotta get it to him. Oh no, I'm getting beat up.
Oh no. And then the little dude shows up.
Yeah, the kid shows up, and along with Sango, Kagome, and Shippo, Kagome manages to get hold of the Tetsaiga, and he's like, you gotta get it to Inuyasha. He's like, where is he? Where is he?
I don't see
And
him.
then they're in the cocoon. Sango tries to beat up a bunch of the bandits, which have somehow, like, their numbers have tripled in size.
Yeah. Yeah, somehow.
Which is very weird. And then Inuyasha basically transforms because the barrier starts to fail, and his life becomes in danger, so it's time to become Demon Man. And he takes out the cocoon.
Yep.
And then just starts taking out everybody.
Everybody.
The demon transforms into a giant moth with no legs.
No
And
legs.
he's like, oh, you can't beat me. And then Inuyasha just defeats him in like 3 seconds.
Ow.
Just completely destroys him.
Yep. Ripperoni.
Yeah. That was something. Then Inuyasha's like, I'm going to take care of all these other bandits. And starts just chopping them up, cutting them up. And then, like, he gets in front of some of them. They're like, please spare us. Spare our lives. And Kagome's like, yo, they're asking for mercy. And he's like, I'm going to get him.
She's like,
And then, like,
"Oh."
he like senses something and he looks the other way, and oh hey, it's Sesshomaru, who had been hanging out with his crew, but then just left, leaving Jockin very sad and trying to look in very small holes for Sesshomaru.
Yeah, like he's definitely in that hole.
Yes, he's also talking about how much he hates Ren, and then Ren's like, why would he go after Inuyasha? And he's like, let me tell you a story about how Sesshomaru and Inuyasha are brothers. I'm very much happy to tell you this story. And then she just leaves. Like, I don't like long stories.
I'm gonna take this thing to get some juicy grass.
Juicy grass. And he's like, oh, I'm sad.
I just wanted to tell it.
Yeah. So Sesshomaru shows up and is just like,
Sup?
hey, what's up? I wanted to see you in your full demon form, so I'm going to test your strength now. Yeah, let's do a little fightsy. Come on, Inuyasha, come at me.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah. So he draws the Tokishin and is like, all right, we'll fight you with this. And then Inuyasha's getting like hit by it, and they're like, no, you gotta back off. You're gonna get torn to pieces by the sword. And he's like, F this sword, punches it out of the
He
way, and
just
just like
punches it.
destroys his arm in the process. It's like
Yep.
all sorts of cuts happen to it. He's like, "Arr."
Err.
And Sesshomaru's like, oh, okay, well, you did that. Interesting. I'm just going to dodge all your attacks. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, cool. And then Sesshomaru's just like, I think the tree was right. You're not a full demon, are you? You're just kind of just mindless and just not really doing anything.
You suck, dude.
You're like a monster. You need to go back to being a half demon. So he basically has Inuyasha charge at him again and then does like a solar flare at him with the sword.
Yep.
And that knocks him away, knocks him out. And everyone rushes over to Inuyasha and is like, don't hurt him. Kagomi's like, no, don't do it. And then Sesshomaru just like walks up to him and they're like, he just like looks at him. And Moroku walks up and is like, you realize you could have finished him off at any point. Like, what are you doing?
I'll do it eventually.
Yeah, I'll do it eventually, but I don't want to do it when he's like this and can't remember anything. Like, that's boring.
Which, at one point, when he's knocked out, Kagome's with him. She says, "Don't come any nearer."
Yeah.
And we're like, "What? What does that mean?"
It's a very odd way to phrase that.
Yeah. Moroku's also like, "Do you have feelings for your brother?" He's like, "No, I don't have feelings. Period."
I do like how this. He does not. But I do like how this scene kind of gives Sesshomaru some, like, layers to him. Because you can interpret the scene in, like, the two different ways, obviously, of, like, the Moroku way of, like, oh, maybe he actually does, like, care for his brother, would try to stop him from being this demon form and try to knock the sense out of him and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But you can also look at it the other way of being like, Sesshomaru really wants to have, like, this actual fight with Inuyasha and doesn't want to do it in this form where it's just, like, a mindless monster fighting him. He wants to actually like fight him when he's at his like actual best and not just this, whatever this is. So he wants to wait for that. But you could see it from both sides of the coin here. And, obviously, there can be two truths here.
I was going to say, it might be a little column A and a little column
Yeah,
B.
exactly. So I thought that was like a good touch there.
But I do like that. I'll kill him eventually.
Yeah.
It's like, sure.
I mean, if anything, like, Sesshomaru, I think, has been the more interesting villain character in this series so far.
Yeah.
Over Naraku, who's just like prototypical I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
He goes back to Jokin and Rin, and Rin's like, "Oh hey, I was feeding the dudes here. We had juicy grass.
We
weren't doing any trouble." Jokin's very melancholy over there, though.
Most melancholy.
And he's like, "Oh, Lord Sesshomaru, you're back. Why did you go after Inuyasha alone?" And he just like looks at him, he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that."
Yep.
All right, let's go.
This is most out of line.
Roll out, crew.
Let us go.
Inuyasha wakes back up and is like, "Oh, what happened? What did I do?" And then like sees all the dead bodies and the destruction. He's like,
"Did I do that?"
Uh-oh. And like smells all the blood on him, and he's like, uh-oh. The little kid wants to go over to them, but the villagers are like, "No, he's a demon. He'll cut you to shreds."
He's like, "No, he's my grandpa.
But Inuyasha's like, "Nah, I don't think I did. I think I killed these people, like, for reals.
Yeah, they're real dead.
And he has the inner struggle of being like, "But I wanted to be a full demon, but not like this. This wasn't the power I wanted.
This sucks.
This isn't fun." After that, we get Moroku and Sango having a little chit chat by the Kool-Aid River.
Yep.
Where Sango's like, "Yeah, I know being around Inuyasha right now could be dangerous, if he turns and all that sort of stuff, but like I gotta stick with him for what he did for Kohaku and everything. Like I can't just abandon that." And Moroku's like, yeah, I get that. Well, I would do the same.
Yep.
I'm going to be sticking around too, so yeah, let's do that.
Want to touch your butt some more?
The parents are sticking around, and then Inuyasha's in the river, like just trying to like clean himself off, but he can't get the smell of blood off him, so he just gets like continuously frustrated and everything.
I texted you. I was like, out spot, because it's really just that.
Yeah. Kagome shows up and is like, "Here's a towel." He's like, "No, I don't want it.
I don't need that.
I don't need it."
He says pussyfooting.
Yeah, he says, "Why is everyone pussyfooting around with what I did?"
I don't give a what I did.
It's so weird to hear that because, like, no one really says that word anymore, but also,
No.
like, half of that word is more explicit than the other. So.
Correct.
But yeah, he's just like, whatever, I don't care what happened. And then she hugs him to comfort him. He's like,
And she's like, don't kid yourself. You do care. But then
But
he
he's also
puts his hand on her.
He's also worried that, like, oh, if I transform again, like, next time I might end up going after you instead, and I won't know it, and oh god, that will be very bad. Oh no, what do I do?
Yep. And that's how it ends.
That's how it ends. There's more music on this page in case you need it, but we have 2 notes here.
Who notes?
This is the 3rd time Inuyasha transforms into a full demon.
Okay.
And then also, the irony of this episode is despite Inuyasha's desire to become a full demon, he regrets it since it didn't happen the way he wanted it to. Which, yeah.
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 That is true.
Yes, it is.
But that is it for this episode. Next time we talk about Inuyasha, we'll be discussing Season 2, Episode 26, the penultimate episode of Season 2, or Episode 53, entitled Father's Old Enemy, Ryokotsusei. I'll figure that out when we eventually watch this episode in, like, 6 months.
Yep. Yeah, we have a little bit of a break to figure out how to pronounce it.
Yeah, so we will not be discussing this episode next week because next week we will be starting back up Love Live Nijigasaki High School Idol Club, as Season 2 of that will be kicking off.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 13 weeks, after that, we'll be talking about Season 2 of Love Live Superstar, as that will be kicking up again. So it's going to be quite a while before we get back to Inuyasha, probably like around October.
Hopefully they give us a recap.
Hopefully they give us a recap, or else we're going to be very confused.
Very confused.
And figuring out what happened in this show.
Yep.
I don't remember.
Nope.
But yeah. We will be returning to Inuyasha in a good while, but yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually we will come back because we still have we have like another 100 episodes of this show still to go.
Well, and then we have
and a couple movies, but
are you counting the final act?
I was not, so we have a little bit more than that. We got quite a bit to go, so yeah. All in due time.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, we will be back, and we will watch some more Inuyasha.
That is for true. But yeah, that's going to do it for this week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. You'll also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup, and you can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love Live Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
So next week, join us as we dive into the 2nd season of Love Live Nijigasaki High School Idol Club and see what those rambunctious kids are up to. And hey, we're going to get 3 new characters to see what's up with them and how exactly they integrate them into that season.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious.
Because I think that's going to be interesting to see how that all works out.
Yeah, totally.